So yeah,
Woo! Finally.
yay. Angel Syndicate Live, Season 2, Episode 2, No Man's Pants. Woohoo.
Da-da.
I am, of
Uh,
course, David, AnjelusX Salon White, and these two
uh,
idiots can introduce themselves.
Yay, I'm an idiot. Hey, this is Matt Fleming, also known as Sans Pants.
And I prefer Idiot Savant, and this is that Goji Harper, Cream Harper.
And there we go. Well, I know you're going to rant, Matt, so you might as well lead off with, of course, your epic rant about No Man's Sky. So go for it.
All right. Yes, as some of you have heard this week, No Man's Sky has been delayed. Um, for whatever reason, it's being polished and things
Well,
like that. They're
lead
having to push it
off
back a bit.
with, of
The
course,
reason why this is on the
Rated
list
M.
all the way up to the very beginning is because some people decide to be absolute jackasses about it and start throwing death threats the creator's way. Because apparently some people are just gigantic children and don't understand that A, good things take time, B, you only get one time to release, and C, they can go fuck themselves because they're a bunch of fucking cowards sitting there sending anonymous death threats to people across the internet when they could be doing literally anything else.
Amen. I really don't know what to add to that, other than that it's just a sad reflection of this culture of entitlement, and I'm not sure if it's a lack of education, what goes into game design, that these guys have really poured their hearts and souls into this title and what that means. Those late nights, that poor diet, that lack of sleep. It's just unreal that we're at this state in terms of quote unquote gamer culture where these things happen. And I'm kind of like, honestly, I'm embarrassed. Really embarrassed.
It's a real fucking shame that shit like that goes on and goes on consistently. And I mean, honestly, if and I think the biggest problem is the one that the Tycho and Gabe have pitched, the greater internet fuckwad theory. Of if you have a bunch of people and you have no way of actually being able to see their faces, you have that anonymity. Suddenly, people seem to treat it like it's a game because they can say literally whatever they want, and where there are absolutely zero consequences. Um,
And that's why I really loved when YouTube tried to make that push when Blizzard tried to make that push towards removing anonymity. And I think it's needed. And I'll be completely honest. I see the internet on the slow road towards maturation. And even with publications now closing down their comments, and not now, but this was a trend over the past year and a half, where they're like, we're just not going to deal with the trolls, and the anonymous trolls. Maybe we're at that point where it's like single ID. You know, you need to stand by your words, and there's no more anonymity. It's linked to a profile with your real name and first last name, at least, so that there is some measure of accountability. It's not gonna happen, but a boy could dream.
I
I Yeah.
I think the other thing about this that that pretty much would happen is, despite the this coming about because of a delay, the same thing would happen if the game released on time. There would be people who would react negatively to the game being out and not liking what they have expectations for, and you'd see the same kind of threats coming in anyway, because that's just, it's the era we're living in.
Yeah, and eventually it's going to be one of those really weird things that no one is going to end up liking the solution for. But at some point, we're going to have to do something like South Korea has done and say, oh, you want to use an online service? Well, you need to hook up some real life information to your account. And if you decide to do shit like throw around death threats or whatever, oh, look, there's a line right to your front door, and this should be dealt with appropriately. Until then, we're still going to have to deal with jackasses who throw death threats and rape threats and everything else threats at people because it made them unhappy to read something.
Made them unhappy to read something, and they're empowered by being able to hide behind a fucking screen in a basement somewhere, and I won't say in their mom's basement because there's plenty of adults that are engaging this behavior as well. So it's quite sad. But South Korea, I didn't know that they had drawn a line like that. That
Oh
is,
yeah, they,
it,
they,
Yeah,
it's I my body is ready
that's
for
big
it.
in a lot of Southeast Asia as a whole. They've had it for the last couple of years where you had to put in like your passport ID number or something when you signed up for a service.
oh yeah, it's been that way for a while, and honestly, that's one of the problems that bringing games from the east to the west has caused because they don't have to be incredibly strict about client server architecture when they know that if someone tries to hack, oh look, they have their freaking social security number, they're going to go sick the cops on them. Over here, that doesn't happen, so they've a lot of places that have tried to localize cool games over there haven't been able to do so successfully, or they've done so and cheating has run rampant because, without that little bit of fear, why the hell wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, the problem with over here is they can't circumvent the privacy laws, which it's that balance you have to seek between what's private and what's not, because everybody's afraid that if they put that information in there, hackers are going to get a hold of it. So that's a large reason why that there's that blockage on this side of the pond.
That said, let me just give the required Vader. No, I am disappointed. I was really looking forward to the game next month, but you know what? These guys, it's something that comes off in their interviews and the demos that they've done that they really, really care about this. And if they feel that they need to take a little bit extra time to deliver an experience that they think that they can offer or provide gamers, like I'm willing to wait. Like I know I'm gonna zone out for a couple. People gonna check up on me to make sure I'm alive once it's finally released. So I'm hoping it's worth the wait, and I think it is.
It's most likely going to be. They won't push it back like this if they weren't just trying to make sure that everything was cleaned up because, like a couple of really prominent game designers have said before, you only launch once. And hey, to be quite frank, I've got too many other games on my plate, which is what we'll talk about once we're in the what we're playing section.
Thing. Amen.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not going to mention games that might never launch because, well, we don't have time for that tonight.
Hey, Duke
You
Nukem
just
was a
had
quality game. I can't finish that.
I'm glad you brought up Duke Nukem. I know where that was going.
Yep.
Oh, David, that was brutal. I'm not gonna comment. I'll leave it alone. I
Yep,
will
I
yep.
leave
bought
it
the collector's
alone.
edition. The best thing that came out of that were the dice.
No, well, yeah. No, I'm talking about something else, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about, but we're not going to go there.
We're not gonna
Oh
go
no, we're
there.
not
We're
going to
not
go
gonna
with that
mention
one
it.
either. Oh god.
No, we're not gonna mention it. Or
I
my
said my piece
investment,
about that on
or
social media already
the
this
size
week.
of my investment in that thing. So I got a lot riding on it. I'm sad. I'm hard. Oh, it's painful. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on, let's talk about one of the new games that just released this week, a free-to-play game called Chronicle Runescape Legends. Apparently, the people over at RuneScape have decided to try to do something other than RuneScape to try and make some damn money. It came out, I think, a couple days ago, and it is the closest thing that it looks like it's trying to compare itself to is, oh, what the hell? Really? Oh, Hearthstone, because my brain just completely stroked off there. It is a card game where you play against another person, but instead of having mana and tapping it and throwing stuff out, you are taking one of the designated characters, running them through essentially a gauntlet, and the cards that you have are obstacles or treasures that you can put in the way. So your goal is to make sure that your little man's gets more gold, gets extra damage, and being able to run through and just beat people up to get all the way to the end. And by the end of it, then your character fights their character, and whoever wins wins. Uh, I thought it was pretty neat, but I'm not entirely sure how much staying power it's going to have compared to something like a true CCG.
That does sound interesting, but yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I mean, Hearthstone aside, there's a lot of CCGs coming out now because, of course, everybody's jumping on it. But that definitely does sound like a different spin. I'll have to take a look at that.
You know what? Who I'm gonna tap is my nephew because he grew up with RuneScape and he still is a player, and I'm really gonna be curious as to what his take is on this.
Oh God, please do. I know nothing about RuneScape other than it was a MMO you could play in your browser and it looked really cheap.
Yeah,
All
well,
apologies
yeah,
to the
and
people
it,
up
it
there.
was interesting in that a lot of, at least in my experience over the past like 5 years, what I watched was my nephews and my younger cousins. They all gravitated to it because hey, there was like no cost to it, and it was a browser game, and for some reason they just became hooked on. Like I didn't get it. I tried to introduce them to other things like Star Wars Galaxies and the KOTOR MMO and World of Warcraft and all the things, and they just kept going back to RuneScape. So I'm really curious to see if they're playing this or not. And I probably should have checked in before this cast.
That's all right. I
Like
kind of
I'm
snuck that one
watching
in at the
gameplay
last
videos
minute.
of it, and
So
I'm like, this looks so boring. I'm sorry.
it's neat. I mean, it's trying to take that same kind of card game mechanic and do something different with it. I mean, it's kind of like, if you take a look at Duelist, which operates on a you have your main guy on the battlefield and you're summoning creatures, but you're actually doing a turn-based strategy angle. Taking that base formula and trying to move something forward with it that takes advantage of the digital medium, as opposed to just entirely replicating a CCG like Hex did. Um, it's something that kind of has to happen for that particular genre to grow. I just don't know if this is the way to go.
I
This is
mean,
going to be one of those time
it's
will
like
tell thing.
now that I'm seeing once the cards are laid out and the characters are going down their paths, it's interesting, and I like that they took literally the miniature aspect of it, like their little tiles, and they fall over, and you see their base tip over with them. But I don't know, it's something that's making my skin crawl about this.
It's cute, and I like the art direction for it. But yeah, I'm leaning towards probably playing it tomorrow just to see how I feel about it. But I don't know. It's different. I give them that. They definitely tried, and for that they get points.
You know what's funny? Had this been the power of a license, had this been something like Warhammer or dare I say Star Wars, I may be a little bit more excited. I have images of RuneScape.
That said, I'm going to go ahead and drop a link into chat
There
there
we
so
go.
that
We're
you can
back
take
up.
a look at Eternal Fuck. Okay. I'm preemptively dropping a link in the chat.
Yep.
That said, Warhammer, fantastic. As a kid that grew up playing with the miniatures and was introduced to Warcraft, the very first RTS, as oh wow, these guys almost had like the Warhammer license, but they blew it and did their own thing, and it's kind of like Warhammer. So it has a special place in my heart. Just as a kid, I actually had to suck on someone's toe, a woman's toe, a real woman's toe, my friend's sister's toe, because of loss of battle.
What?
Yeah, but it was worth it. She has nice toes. She had really nice toes.
Yeah, that. Okay, so when you do the little short clips thing that you assemble together for advertising, please put that in there.
But that said, I love how they streamlined the Total War meta game turn-based element of it. I love how they captured the look and feel of all the miniatures and brought them to life. I love the scale of the battles and of the different units. The power of heroes and lord units are amazing. To see bodies fly, like it's good times. The orcs are legit with their wog. It's good times.
Okay, I got one question then for I'm pretty sure all of our
Probably the
audience
best
here.
Warhammer game to date, other than Dawn of War.
No, that wasn't going to be my question. My question was going to be, does it feel like there's going to be a lot of DLC coming? I.e., should I buy it now or should I just wait until they
Wait,
release a gold?
wait. Wait until they release a gold. It's gonna be a lot of DLC coming. What I was fascinated by was how they introduced as the free race now the Chaos Legion, which is again they'll put it up for sale, but then it'll be part of a package. Um, the gameplay is drastically different, and I'm really curious what they do in terms of future campaigns. The multiplayer stuff again, I haven't really done it yet, and I'll do it with David later today, or tonight, or in the morning. But wait, as always, wait. And Dawn of War 3 is coming too, and I'm actually it's that itch in me, in that as a fanboy, I got that knee-jerk reaction. But you bring up a great point. Wait 6 months, summer sale, Steam, gold package. You get 6 months of DLC. You're good to go.
Speaking of that, we might as well throw in the potential leak for the summer sale time is, I believe they said June 18th.
Yeah, I think that's what it said.
Yep.
Get ready.
Prepare your wallets. It's
To
gonna be terrible
sob.
for everyone.
It's absolutely terrible. So let's talk about something that's dear to my heart: Deadpool 2.
Yep,
Yep.
back on
Coming
Deadpool.
right off of our conversation last week about its place, it's really interesting to see all of these controversy and speculation as to Deadpool being in there, which of course, since the people that watch the end of the credits, spoiler alert, he was totally announced. We got there was 3 different guys that are pushing for it.
That I can see, that I've heard so far, there's 3. There's Stephen Lang, Ron Perlman, and Edge.
Jesus Christ Almighty! Sorry for those that are religious that are listening to this. For the blasphemy, but no, I can't. Edge. You know what? I love Edge. I love WWE. He's great. He's learning how to act. He's getting his chops. He's just not. He doesn't have the grit in the age yet, and or the level of maturity needed for Cable. We're talking Lang, and we're talking Ron Perlman, man. Stephen Lang and Ron Perlman. They are it for Cable.
I would disagree. Edge actually has been getting. He had a number of roles. I mean, hell, he was in that one Highlander movie. That was
Yep,
Edge, right?
he
Or
was.
okay.
Yeah, that was Edge.
Yeah, and he did pretty good, if memory serves.
Yeah, and he was in that sci-fi series also. I forgot the name of it. And he's all right, but
I wouldn't. But it
imagine...
depends on how young they're going for him. If they're trying to go for the older the older looking Cable, then I'm gonna have to go with Ron. But if they're gonna go younger, honestly, I'd go Edge.
You know what? I hope they're going older. And no spoilers for those that haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse. Stay for the credits, because they hint at a character, from the Marvel mythos that creates Cable. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I'm hoping, like, to your point, that would tend to lead it younger if they're following this current X-Men storyline, which I don't feel Deadpool is doing. But if they are, and they're using that as a door for Cable...
Wait a minute.
I can't do Edge.
Wait. So if because I haven't seen that yet, but if you're saying that they're going to have Cable show up in the X-Men universe, that means by connection, Deadpool's going to be over on the X-Men side, and we're never going to see him on a Marvel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know how I feel about that.
Deadpool, I think we could see anywhere. Honestly,
I think Fox at this point will see Deadpool to anywhere.
yeah, I think we'll see Deadpool anywhere.
That
Because
said,
it's Deadpool.
oh god, I gotta release this. So if you haven't seen Apocalypse yet, I'm not gonna spoil it. At the end of the credits, they introduce Mr. Sinister in a subvert way, in that they introduce his quote unquote undercover name, his normal name and his organization, which leads to the creation of Cable. So whether or not they go down that route or they're just trying to introduce Mr. Sinister is a whole other thing, but he has a role in the creation of Cable, which is just interesting for Deadpool because you gotta remember they retconned his origin story. So I think, like to David's point, he can go anywhere.
It's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy, and it's definitely going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. And on about Deadpool being anywhere, I at this point in the MCU, I can't see them trying to squeeze him in anything right now because I mean,
It wouldn't work.
Infinity
Except
Gauntlet 1 and
Spider-Man.
2 is going to be full. Spider-Man maybe,
Like
but
even as an end credit sequence, like just the two of them like talking smack,
with
that would be worth the price of admission.
true, but with the way things are going right now, Spider-Man may end up being crowded too because RDJ is going to be in it.
He said what? No, you're right.
He's
He
going to
wants
be in it.
it.
Chris Evans
Because
wants to be in
now
it.
we're exceeding his contract obligation.
Cap wants to be in it. No, RDJ is in it. I remember now. But Chris Evans wants to be in it. He wants to be in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Everybody wants to be in it, man.
Probably now after that, after his returned outing.
I gotta say though, I read this comment somewhere and it was kind of funny about Civil War, and they said the minute that Spider-Man was like Queens and Captain Sound off Brooklyn, it was some very very New York City-ish, where they could have popped off like MOP, Andy Up, or something like that, or something to represent Brooklyn, and the entire theater that I was in would have went apeshit. So this
But
opportunity.
the thing I could see, I'm gonna go a little overtime with this, but that's fine. The thing I could see with Deadpool, where I see him next, other than Deadpool 2, what I'd like, well, actually, I should say what I'd like to see is I'd like to see him in Wolverine 3. I'd like to see Deadpool with Old Man Logan. That would make me very happy.
It would make sense too because they all came from the same project technically.
They
So
Yeah.
did. They did. I wouldn't want it until third
'Cause-
act.
Well, yeah, I
Or
know.
even post credit sequence because
Well,
there's
keep
something
in
about
mind,
Old Man Logan. I want it to be dark and brooding and like
this will be
a
Hugh Jackman's last
Western,
outing.
as they promised. End of a chapter.
Well, this is Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine movie. So,
It has to happen.
I want to see his Wolverine with Deadpool.
I agree.
Because it's the
but
only
I
opportunity
hope
we're
it
going to
doesn't
get.
compromise
True.
an old Western gritty
That's true. Maybe it will be an end credit scene
mutant
or something.
on his last hurrah. His
Which
last ride.
the other thing is if they did put Deadpool anywhere else, I think the best place that they could put him isn't in the movies. It would be through Netflix. I would want to see Deadpool with Punisher.
Yeah.
In the Punisher series.
Episode. It's just cameo
Just a
episodes,
one-off
but
episode.
You're right. It has to be one.
Just a one-off episode.
Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, like he has to. Even I would say, because of the backlash that occurred, and parents were like, "Our kids like Deadpool." Hell, throw him in Agents of Shield one episode.
Oh my
as
god.
A PG version.
Oh my
Like,
god, could you imagine? I
get the
can't even
ratings
wrap
up.
my mind around that. But and my last point
One
on Deadpool,
episode.
I have one more point on Deadpool. My one disappointment from the movie was the Stan Lee cameo.
What? That was perfect.
No, the
really, 'Cause I
cameo was
laughing my
perfect.
ass off.
I was
No,
laughing
that's
my
not-
ass off.
I love the cameo. What I would have loved to see was Deadpool interacting with Stan Lee. Because that would be... I know why they didn't do it, because if they did do it, it would either solve the theory about it, but it would be fucking hilarious.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
Stan
only
Lee is
thing.
the Watcher.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to see Deadpool interact with him. I loved the cameo, but I wanted to see Deadpool interact with him.
They actually had Deadpool interactive watcher. Oh.
You guys are getting real on me.
Oh. I think I just
growly robot voice.
Yeah, are you hearing me all right?
I hear you fine.
Oh, damn.
Kareem went robot.
Kareem, no! The Matrix has you!
No, I just went robot because it was just like, oh, if Deadpool interacted with the Watcher as the Watcher, it's like, child, you should not be talking to me right now.
Okay, moving on.
moving on.
Because we can sit here and talk about that all day. Another announcement that happened this week: Starfinder. Pathfinder is deciding to move on to space, much like TSR did back in the day after they created Dungeons and Dragons, and they are making a spacefaring version of their game. It's there has been a lot of news on that outside of some pictures, and of course, announcing that it's going to exist. But Pathfinder in space.
My memories of Pathfinder are vague, but that definitely sounds interesting.
Well, Pathfinder is considered by a lot of people D&D 3.75. It was the version of D&D that actually went through, fixed a bunch of stuff, added a few problems of its own, but really if you're going to stick with that old school experience, that's what Pathfinder did, and it seems to be the thing that they're going to go to next. Like I said, now that they're doing this, I'm expecting a version of Boot Hill and Crime Fighters from them. That way they can keep following in TSR's legacy up until the point where they hand everything off to lawyers and fuck it all up. Not that I'm fucking bitter or anything.
No, not bitter at all.
Me? Bitter? What do we possibly talk about, Mr. Oh, I have the first edition of Gamma World and fucking the box version of Star Frontiers, and I found the main book for Top Secret. And, the fucking Buck Rogers game. I have those on my shelf. Boy, I would have loved to have been able to see other versions of that, but no fucking lawyers.
You know what? I'm looking at Starfinder now. It's enticing to think about, again, them expanding the lore and taking it into the future. Interesting. They're saying 2017 though, next year, August. The ways away.
Makes sense. They're probably trying to finish nailing out a lot of this stuff, and trust me, doing layout and stuff like that, especially on a book that's going to be easily 300 plus pages, that's going to take a while. They're probably also lining up a lot of the legalese because if you read in there, they're going to OGL the basic part of the system, which means that we're all going to be able to sit there and make splat books and stuff for it. Did I just blow your mind?
A little bit.
Okay.
Space, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts, man. But, I mean, if it's anything like Pathfinder, it's going to be pretty big.
Well, definitely something to put on the watch list.
And you already got fans asking for the squealies to be in space. Pigs in space. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's all right. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about God Eater, I believe it is. I'm going to let you take this one.
So I'm gonna keep it brief. Was a great Vita or PSP game in the vein of Monster Hunter, one of the numerous clones, but it stood out one for its bullet system, in that there were, if you could think of a rule set of 3 to 8 steps, you could design bullets that for each step of that rule would have a certain characteristic or function in a certain way. Whether they would spiral, whether they would home, what type of damage they would do, and there was just a level of meta complexity there that just drove me crazy. And you can actually look up, God Eater bullet lists for the different combinations and crazy combos that people came up with. The second was the whole quote-unquote eater aspect, where you're eating these for lack of a better word, kami, or these evil spirits. And just like a Monster Hunter game, you're trying to collect different resources, and of course that contributed to the bullets, but there was also the melee component. So it was different melee styles, from like a broadsword to like a spear, and woven into a really dark and humorous storyline. It was just more fun. The most fun that I had in one of these clone games since Monster Hunter. And I'm really looking forward to them bringing over not just the original, and this is Bandai and Namco Bandai, not just the original with all the DLC on PS4 and Vita, but also the sequel with all the DLC and Vita. That was just Japan has just been holding all to themselves. I mean, there's an anime series behind it. I highly recommend just looking into it. And if you like those Monster Hunter type games, the storyline, the animations, how the eating mechanics worked, was just some good body horror fun.
You know it's a Japanese game when you have to use the words eating mechanics.
Well said.
Yeah, dude, that's on my list. Let's go to the next thing, which, okay, one of you's gonna have to explain what the hell is up with this. Steam re-release wishlist.
Yeah, this has to do with the current trend, especially by Square Enix, releasing older titles onto Steam, and Niz America is doing it now with Disgaea and the upcoming Phantom Brave. What older titles would we like to see released on Steam? And for me, there's really only one answer. Well, no, there's two answers, but the main answer would be everything Suikoden. I would love to see that re-released on Steam because let's face it, Konami needs the money
Konami needs the
Yeah.
money if they're still even going
and
in
the
the gaming
goodwill of the
direction.
fans.
You know what I'm gonna say to that? I'm gonna say they don't need the money. They've their their
Pachinko.
money has moved over to things like pachinko and stuff like that. As much as I hate to say it, gambling and shit like that makes an assload of money for them. And game development is literally a sink that you just throw money in and then you light a match and you throw the match onto the money. People say that, oh man, they should totally do this, they should totally do that. Nostalgia is a powerful thing, and banking on the fact that a bunch of people are going to like a re-released version of something that you put out with all of the 1,001 pitfalls that might befall it and force it to end up not being quite up to that. On top of that, just people remembering, oh yeah, that was so great, and then they play and they're like, oh wait, this part totally sucked. Why did I give these guys money? It's as badly as I would love to see them go and bring back, the old school Castlevania styles and, all the long list of stuff that Konami has done. Um, Honestly, if I were them, I would parcel out a lot of the game stuff, sell it to the highest bidder, and let them stick with what the hell is actively making the money end over year and
And,
just be done with it.
and can I add something to that? I think there's a fucked up cultural thing going on as well between the Western quote unquote offices versus the offices of Japan. So, case in point, you look at the Yakuza series, Yugo Kotaku, like a dragon. Um, you have the creator, Toshihiro Nagoshi, literally saying, "Oh, it's difficult to bring these games to the West. I don't know if there's really a market there." And it's honestly everyone, and I know that I am a sample size of one, but even just checking mentions on social media, the volume of mentions, there is a huge fan base here, and for some reason, that's not translating to him to keep doing what you're doing and just get them here sooner as you can, as fast as you can. Don't worry about trying to downplay Japanese humor. We like Japanese humor. We want to learn about it. We care about it. We don't want you to change the butt end of a joke for the West. And for some reason, that's not translating. Like, it's funny with Konami. I would love a Suikoden like re-releases on Steam. But Pachinko is Konami being a traditional company, very traditional Japanese company, like that was where their money was from the get go. And the gaming was a branch, and they encountered a character that pushed them a little bit too much than their traditional norms are ready for, and they went into shock and they're reeling. So if they re-release it, I doubt it. Um, I wish they do. Squeenix, I kind of wish they would re-release Vagrant Story on PC with updated graphics. One of the best RPGs on PS1, best combat engine in anything set in the Final Fantasy universe. Um, I'll leave it at that. I'm done ranting.
No, I don't blame you rambling on that. And they do have a nice list. I mean, I'm sitting here going through the list of Konami games, and to be honest, I think I see what the hell happened. They, the Beatmania games, the DDRs, those kind of things, they rose in
Arcade.
popularity, and that that boosted their revenue. That made all of their, all the people that have thrown money at them say, investor wise, really, really giddy. And then those things, much like Harmonix with the Rock Band stuff, the bottom fell out, and suddenly they're not worth anything. All the good games have already been made, and then they're sitting there, holding their balls, and they're trying to figure out what the hell to do next. The next bunch of games that they made were a smattering of decent to what the hell games, and I think the problem is simply that in the games market, at least, they've been floundering so much, trying to replicate anything resembling the success of some of their previous stuff. That, yeah, I mean, they're probably on a really tight leash, both in Japan and the United States. The Japan market's making money with stuff that the business part that they know. So a lot of the stuff, their mentality sucks, but when it comes to having a publicly traded company, shit like this happens, and it sucks.
Well said.
Uh, well, I mean that was my biggest thing. But is there anything else you'd want to see re-released on Steam? I mean, there's the back library for Koei Tecmo. I'd love to see. They do have. They just last year released Nobunaga's Ambition: Sphere of Influence. They've got Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13 coming for PC and PS4. But
Vagrant Story. I just want an update of Vagrant Story, and I'll be happy. And when I say update, just new textures, or just release it open source so the modders can get their hands on it. And everything about that game, the combat engine, the way saves work, everything else is perfect. Just update the graphics. Or just release it so that the modders can get to it, as I said. Because, what modders have done to Final Fantasy VII is amazing.
For me, there are a couple of lines that I would love to see actually come back and be re-released and stuff. One, the Shin Megami Tensei series.
Oh!
Oh my god, I would love. They
Yes.
they did
Hold
Shin
on.
Megami Tensei 1 for a little
Yes.
while on
Vita.
iPhone and iPad.
PSP. I got it on PSP, the re-release with the updated pixels. Oh,
Yeah, see, I would like to see them do that, go through the Persona series. I would like to see, the other version of 2 actually come out over here. If they sold that for 35, 40 bucks as a package of both of them localized, take my money.
I want then Nocturne as well. Because Nocturne is fantastic. I still have my physical special edition copy of it with Dante that makes a cameo appearance that you can get as a demon that you can summon. Oh my god, you're gonna make me want to play Nocturne soon. Oh,
I've been meaning to crack that one open too. But the other game I was going to mention that I would love to see on Steam. This is going to be a little, well, it's not going to be weird, but everyone's going to say, duh. I would love that too the moment I say it. Warcraft 3. Give me Warcraft 3. Give me with the not even update graphics, just to be able to give widescreen support without having to do a bunch of stupid shit. Use the Steam backend to do matchmaking and stuff for that, and just give me fucking Warcraft 3.
wait a minute, that's not available for download on Battle.net?
It's available over on BattleNet, kind of. You can buy it and you can download the executable and stuff, and you can install it from there. But it doesn't have any of the cool setup stuff. B, it trying to work with BattleNet is janky at best. At least from what I've been able to try and fool around with. And C, I want it on fucking Steam.
Thing.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't jump for Warcraft 3. I'd jump for Warcraft 2.
You know what? How about all of them? Just give me a
Well,
package
all
of
right,
3.
sure. Yeah, make it do what Command and Conquer did, and just do an Ultimate Edition. All
Oh
the
my god, I
Warcraft
would
and all
like
the
that to
Starcraft.
actually work. I had
What?
that at one point, but I wasn't able to get like half of the games working on Windows 7, and that made me very
Weird.
sad.
Because it works for me on Windows 10, and it worked on 7. And I got it through
Well, you know
Origin
what?
for like $5.
Maybe it's your fucking Canadian edition that's all,
It could be.
Oh, look, we're going to play nice with everything. Fuck you.
Sorry. Make a Canadian
Okay.
comment, get a Canadian
That went
response.
there.
That was worth it. Okay, I think we're going to move on to the next one, which is sadly firmly in my purview. Magic the Gathering. It has a new box set coming out, and they just finished releasing all of the spoilers for it. Eternal Masters.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's got all a reprints of a bunch of cards, just spanning some of the oldest stuff over to some of the newer things, including Jace the Mind Sculptor, everyone's favorite Sarah Angel. Let me click on here and
Oh
look
my
through
god,
the list.
Wrath of Gods, Jareth.
Yeah, this entire series is designed to be
Oh.
drafted strictly. I'm picking up a
No
box,
rolls.
but it's partly for
Wait,
drafting and
what?
yeah, I know. Look through that. They've got let's see, where some of the really nice ones. Dak Faden is coming in there finally because he's only been available in Conspiracy, so giving him a second outlet to show up is going to be nice. Squadron Hawk, which everyone loves to hate. I mean, all the tutors are coming back.
So wait, do they have the same attributes as the older versions, or no?
Yes, they do.
My
Some of the wording is
God.
slightly changed because removed from the game is now exile all
The
over the
exile
place, so
was-
they changed
right.
the names on that. But yeah, I mean, if you look through that list, it is definitely a blast from the past, and it's going to be it's coming out the 10th. So go find your local FLGS, see if you can buy a copy because they're already pretty rare, and these reprints are just going to be sexy as hell.
Yeah. Sorry,
that's David.
my
just sitting over
I'm
there
sorry.
my MT.
sorry.
No, I loved Magic back when I played it, but back when I played it was 1994, 95.
That sounds that was the
Yeah.
when I was introduced to it actually.
When I was taking a break from Robotech and Rifts, I was playing Magic the Gathering, but at the time I couldn't get invested in it mainly because I couldn't financially get invested in it, and it just never stuck.
I totally get it. It's
I hear that.
I mean, you can play it smart these days as long as you're paying attention and you know exactly what cards you want to do, and if you do it slowly, you can amass enough cards to actually make some decent decks. One other thing I definitely need to say about this is fuck Jace, fuck him in his fucking face.
Oh snap!
fuck Jace. No, so fucking seriously, look at him. He has like a 200. What is he, like a $200 card
That's
or something?
why I called
still?
it out earlier.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm
Fuck
sorry.
that guy. If you look at him, he's one of the ones that actually has 4 things he can do, and he can sit there. And if you manage to actually let him build up to his ultimate ability, it's pretty much just like, you know what? Just fuck everything. Your game is over. Oh look, you can look at the top card of a player's library. You can move it to the bottom. Think about that. Every turn, his +2, the thing that helps him move all the way up, he can look at the top of your library and say, nope, you're not going to get that one. Fuck Jace.
Oh, God.
And that's another thing you can put on the little blooper reel or whatever. Fuck Jace.
Yep.
Okay, Magic the Gathering out of the way. What's next?
Upcoming hype! We're talking E3 and expectations, if any.
Oh my god. You know it's going to be a third VR. Because, the GDC this year was about half VR.
Half.
Well, I'm not sure E3 like E3 is going to be. I'll grant you it's going to be a third VR, but it might be more than that because I don't think it's going to be as big as usual. Because I think some companies have pulled out. I believe EA's has separated its event, so it's not going to be part of E3, but its event's going to be just outside E3 or something. At least I think it's EA.
Yeah, it was EA.
Yeah,
They're just trying to differentiate themselves and say, "Oh yeah, look, we're totally for the people." It's partly
yeah.
PR stunt, and partly I'm willing to bet that they
But
weren't going to give them as much space as they wanted this year.
It might
That's my
be.
personal guess, but yeah.
I think it's also going to be about consumer facing too.
I think it's gonna be about consumer facing, and to that point, it comes back to VR because even though they may be doing their separate events, it's going to be those booths and allowing people to experience the Oculus and the Vive and whatever it is that Sony's working with. That's going to get the press and the attention and get all the garner the most attention.
Yeah,
I,
speaking of Sony, I want to hear what's going on with Gaikai. Haven't heard anything about that since the acquisition.
oh yeah, they changed that to PlayStation Now. You
I
can use
know.
it. Yeah, you can use it right now to go and
Okay.
play like a bunch of PS3 games. I tried it myself. The problem is if you are not on a pristine connection, you can guess exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was playing it wirelessly, and I could tell that every once in a while it would hiccup a little bit here and there. Thank God I was only just playing Class of Heroes 3 because, of course, gigantic fucking nerd. But it's a nice idea, and being able to drop like I think it was like $8 or $10 for the access to the whole collection every month. Pretty damn good idea as long as you've got the bandwidth and stuff like that, and you're willing to accept those little hiccups. It wasn't worth it for me at the time. I might fire it up again, but that's what they're doing with it. So
Okay, because I haven't seen too much even about PlayStation Now. I haven't seen too much about that recently, so I was wondering. I might not have been paying attention.
you might not have been paying attention because they've been advertising it on PS3 and PS4 like it's in gigantic fucking letters. Hey, come over and try this. You
That
can
would
try it for
explain why I
14
haven't
days
seen
free.
it. I'm not on either because I went
What
with.
the hell is wrong with you?
I had a choice and I went with Xbone because everybody else was going with PS4. So for the good of the site, I went with
We
Xbox
won't
One.
get into my rant that I predicted this, but
Go
yeah.
for it.
No,
No, no, no. Do it.
No, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
You
no, no.
you
There were
Yes.
a
have
lot
two
of
Yeah.
minutes. I'm timing you.
there were
Go.
a lot of signs early on that Microsoft misjudged this round, and what's the sad irony of it is that they replicated the mistakes that Sony made with the PS3, and that they positioned it as this gonna take over your living room, and it's more than games, and they forgot the core gamer culture. The user interface was atrocious, um, and they fell behind, and they felt totally tone deaf during that E3 where they debuted the PS3 versus Microsoft that went with this pro games approach. It was almost like a complete reversal, like 180, where Sony did what Microsoft did with the 360 with the PS4, and Microsoft did what Sony did with the PS3 with the Xbone, and they had a totally tone deaf approach to gamers. Like there was that one comment. There was like a naval salesman stationed on one of the U.S. submarines, and he said, hey, you're telling me I can't use this unless I have an internet connection. And I can't remember. It was the head of the Xbox gaming division then, and he was like, "Oh yeah, well, just stick with the 360, kid." And it was just very, very condescending. It was very, very tone deaf, and it was that same tone deafness that Sony exhibited with the PS3. Meanwhile, during the PS4 press conference, you had them up front saying, yeah, they're doing the mocking of sharing games. It's like, yes, you can give this to your friend, and it, they were just very, very open. They were very, very pro gaming. They were very, very about the indie culture, which that was suffering this backlash from 360 Arcade, and Sony just swooped in with like this better platform for them to debut their games. And specifically, if you notice on the PS4, just proliferation of indie titles that have just been popping up is just amazing. So, case in point, if you
Kareem.
listen, I'm sorry, coming to my point, if you looked at the nature of mentions, the volume of mentions, and the sentiment of those mentions, what you saw was that Sony was crushing Microsoft in every conceivable way. And just that momentum and the volume and the goodwill that they had mustered during that E3, it was obvious that they were going to win this cycle. And sure enough, fastest selling console of all time now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's why I have one.
And that's why I went with an Xbox One, because I knew everybody was going with PS4.
Which,
Because,
I mean, I guess if you want to play Halo, that's pretty much what it's for. It is the Halo box.
And the funny thing
Gears
is
of
that
War.
I'm so anti-Halo.
Gears of War.
Like,
I can't be anti-Halo because I know a couple of people that work over there, and they're
Halo.
really
When I
wonderful
say
people.
anti-Halo, it's just that it's not my thing. Let me say that. I wish I could give them money, I just can't. Having
Yeah.
played Deus Ex, No One Lives Forever, System Shock, when Halo came out, I was like, this is it.
Okay,
And
Kareem, your challenge now, because this is like the third time you brought it up. You need to stream No One Lives Forever so that those of us who have not played it can watch you play it.
oh my god, No One Lives
Yes.
Forever. If I could track it down, so there's this weird licensing battle going on. I gotta dig up my CDs for it, which I do have. No One Lives Forever 1 and 2. Otherwise, it's unavailable anywhere, which is a dying shame because the rights are in like limbo with like because of foldings and it's whatever happened to Monolith happens and the rights went somewhere like to Warner Bros. Or Take Two. Like it's bizarre.
Sir, I'm hearing a lot of excuses and not enough action.
Oh my god, but No One Lives Forever is fantastic. Just
I know, right? Well, I mean, you
the
talk
theme
about it enough.
song
I
is
think you should do it. You know what? You should go and
amazing.
track it down, and you should play that for Extra Life this year.
You know what? I hear that, and I'm willing to do it.
Dude, fucking do it. It would be great. Then you could have the Angel Syndicate Extra Life stream. It'd be you sitting there playing that. I
Yep.
don't know what I'm. You know what? Let's add an extra thing to the end of this before we go to our what we're playing. Let's talk about fucking Extra Life.
All right.
For the people that don't know what Extra Life is, it is a 24-hour gaming event for charity, specifically children's hospitals. You can go sign up on their site at extra-life.org, and I have done it for like the last, 5 or 6 years now, and I've managed to rack up a few $1,000s that goes to the children's hospital up in Oakland. It is a really good charity, and frankly, I don't quite know what I'm going to be doing for it this year. Maybe we can get together and do like a thing with like we can have all of us hooked together and like do a multi-stream thing.
That would be good.
That I am
Yeah.
game for.
Well, if we needed a game that would last out 24 hours, I can think of one right off the top of my head.
Dude, we are not going to steal Lars for 24 hours.
Oh, come on.
Oh my
Warhammer
God.
for 24 hours.
War. Yeah, well, yeah.
You know what? We'll talk about it because
We'll see.
I don't know what other people will be grabbing me for stuff, but worst comes to worst, we could just have like one of us in there streaming the whole time and us just in chat. And you know what? We could do it for 24. It's been a while since I've done one game for 24 hours, and that one could work.
Can we switch it up? Can we switch it up?
Oh, we
dude,
could absolutely
I switch it
switch
up every year. The last few years I switched it up. God damn, I got a ways into Pillars of Eternity last year. We could switch it up, but frankly,
just
if you're
reminded
playing with a
me-
group, it's a lot more fun when everyone's playing the same thing for 24 hours and we
Agreed.
all go nuts together.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh,
That said, Pillars of Eternity, I gotta get the expansions. I haven't got the expansions yet. I need to do that.
The last thing I want to say about E3 is I want
Oh.
to see what Nintendo brings. If they're
Nintendo,
going to
I
top-
hope they up their game, and also the creators of Killzone. I want to see more of Horizon Zero Dawn, and I want it this year.
Yeah,
Because
I want
after
Recore.
their E3 2015 debut, I was salivating.
Yeah.
Salivating.
I want
It looks
Recore.
amazing.
For Xbox One, I want Recore. But I want to know what's going on with the NX, and I want to know what's going on with this handheld that's being bandied about lately.
Well, it's about time. They've
Oh,
milked
wait,
the
one more.
3DS.
Persona 5.
Oh shit, that's right, Persona 5. Fuck. Are they even going to show this year? I mean, that's usually
They better.
hyped up more over in Tokyo Game Show.
They
Or
better.
Gamescom.
They need to.
I think Gamescom's going to be huge this year.
It's been too quiet.
Gamescom is huge every year. God, last year they had, what,
Yeah,
40,000 people just...
Yeah.
They were breaking laws because they had far too many people in there.
But yeah, I want to see more. I want to see Recore, and I want it this year. I think that's going to be the Xbox One title that will actually make me feel better about buying Xbox One. That and that indie game with the teacups that I can't remember the name of.
Dude, you can get Recore on the PC when it comes on live, just like I got Quantum Break.
I'm trying to justify my Xbox One, okay? Not
I'm
subjugate
sorry.
it. Justify.
Also, like Primal Fear was it also free on PC, Xbox Live now. Wow.
So yeah, but no, I want to see what's going on with this console, because originally I think the NX was supposed to be bandied about or it was theorized that it would be a hybrid handheld or at least take anywhere console kind of thing, and then all of a sudden this news surfaced about a Nintendo working on a handheld as well. So
Nintendo's always working on a handheld, though. If you look
That's
at some of
true.
the patents that they've done the last few years, they had one for this touch screen controller, which I can't even imagine how that works, because frankly, the ones that they've got on phones are atrocious at this point.
Atrocious.
Well,
and
that's
even
the
the
thing.
Steam controller, that second D-pad without hours of tweaking is cumbersome.
Well, that's the thing. You know, there's no details on this handheld, and I'm wondering if this handheld might actually be a Nintendo phone rather than a handheld. Because if their console is going to be take anywhere kind of hybrid,
God, I hope that
then maybe it might be a stupid
Please, God, no.
a Nintendo phone
I had an
not
or
Let's
tablet.
not do that. No.
Now another Lynx.
As long as it's not another Virtual Boy.
I don't think they could do that. That was kind of a magical thing in and of itself.
They
All right,
they need a new Power Glove.
Well,
I want a new Power Glove. Like, honestly.
It would go well with VR. Like, Power Glove, VR, come on. The pieces have been there for so long. You just gotta put them together.
okay, but you're trying it out, and we're going to film
the
it.
Oculus controller looks either, so the Power Glove would be kind of awesome. Especially if they articulate the fingers. Oh my god.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up with what we're playing. David, what the hell are you playing?
Stellaris. And soon to be Warhammer. Probably after this cast. So yeah, Stellaris and Warhammer.
Mr. Kareem, what the hell are you playing?
Warhammer, and TMNT, which I just beat, but I'm gonna do a second playthrough because there are some branching things and discoverable events that are pretty neat for fans, particularly on nostalgia. Oh, and Stranger of Sword City on Vita, it's fantastic.
Yes, it is. I have been playing a lot of Overwatch. Popping in and playing, trying to catch up on a couple of Steam games that I haven't played in a while. I went and refired up Dragon Warrior because they've been advertising Dragon Warrior 2 is in production. And some of the screenshots, some of the video I've seen from that is very Doom-esque, as in the latest Doom. So maybe they're finally going to bring that around to something that's not totally embarrassing.
Interesting.
Oh, and I did pick up Battleborn because it was on sale. Matter of fact, it's still on sale until I think tomorrow morning. Simply because I wanted to see the differences between the two. And you know what? We can talk about that next week.
That sounds like a plan. So I think that's everything.
Yep, I am done.
Any final thoughts?
Fuck Jace!
Well said.
All right, man. Play us out, dude.
Yep, we're done. Thanks for listening. This is the end of Anjel Syndicate Live. Season 2, Episode 2, No Man's Pants. Thanks for listening. You can catch the replay on YouTube later tomorrow. And we are out.
Woo!